Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Our topic today is monitoring done right. Our presentation is done by RPR Wyatt today. Their website is rprwyatt.com, and we're very happy to have them here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you RPR Wyatt for preparing this presentation. I'm going to turn the time over to Jim Engel in just a moment, but just a couple housekeeping notes. Just a reminder that your attendance to this webinar does enter you into the trip for Trip to Connect. And if you do have questions as they're doing their presentation, you can expand your GoToWebinar panel and then open up your questions section, and you can type in your questions, and then we will ask those questions at the end of their presentation. Okay, I'm going to change the slides over to RPR Wyatt. And Alan, I'm making you the presenter so we can see the slides, and then Jim Engel will actually start their presentation off for you. Jim.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that. Welcome, everyone, and a good day to everyone here. Thank you for joining us. I am Jim Engel with RPR Wyatt. Just to make a few brief comments of introduction regarding the company, the product, and the individuals. RPR Wyatt is an IBM Advanced Business Partner and has been since 1999. What we do is make tools. We make tools for administrators. It's what we've done really from the first day we've opened the door, and we continue to do that. It's our focus and really our actual enjoyment, if you will. This is what we like to do. Today we will be talking about VitalSigns. That tool was first introduced approximately 8 years ago. Many of you may be familiar with the initial versions called VitalSigns Classic, which was a note-based tool. Today you will see the culmination of that focus on monitoring in something called VitalSigns Plus, which is our web client version. Both Classic and Plus were built and designed to meet real-world demands in the administration. We realize that when you strip away every function of an administrator, there really is only one function, which is delivering user experience satisfaction. And that's what our goal is. We think that complements everything an administrator wants to achieve, and we think this tool will be a great mechanism for achieving that goal. As far as breadth and depth of the tool itself, I'd like to say it's built really for the total collaborative environment. We really itemize. We go after, certainly on the IBM side, all the Domino products and Domino applications and Domino tools that you would be monitoring the collaborative space, and we are fully ready to launch on the Microsoft space as well. Today we will be hearing from Alan Forbes, the product manager for VitalSigns, as well as Natalia Sketskovovia, who will be speaking with him on certain key components of the product. With that, I'd like to go ahead and let Alan start the presentation.
All right, thanks very much. I am super stoked to be here with you guys today because this is something we've been working on for a very long time, and I'm to show it off in public finally. So it's going to be mostly demo. I do want to talk a little bit about the architecture first, just to put everything in context. But most of the stuff I'm going to do is going to be actual demo, so you get the feel of how the thing works. I want to talk about the architecture a little bit. What you see on the screen right here is something called the VitalSigns dashboard, and it's designed to give you at-a-glance status of what's going on in your environment. And really, we boil it all down to just a couple of boxes up at the top here. So at a glance, I know that 39 of my servers have no issue whatsoever. I do have 21 issues. I have 11 that are not responding, and none that are currently in a scheduled maintenance window. So where does this information come from? Well, on a server class machine, it could be Windows 7 or it could be Windows 2008. In the closet somewhere, we are running a set of components. One is a series of Windows services that do the actual monitoring. So as long as the box is powered up, the monitoring happens. The data that it collects goes into a SQL server, and that can either be a SQL Server that you already have, or if you don't have that, we can put SQL Server Express on the exact same box. And then these actual pages are ASPX pages served by IAS. So on that monitoring workstation, you have IAS installed, you have some Windows services that are doing the monitoring, and you have these pages that present the monitoring for you. And then what VitalSigns is actually doing is acting like an end user in the background. So we have a Notes client installed, and VitalSigns is saying, okay, Notes client, go connect to this server, go connect to that server, go connect to this one, make sure everything's okay. And we're also doing that with SameTime now. So we have a something we built with the Java SameTime toolkit, so it can simulate whether you want to. Do I want to change my color scheme to Windows Basic? Thank you so much for asking me that in the middle of my webinar. Sure, why not? It acts like an end user as far as SameTime is concerned, and so here it comes back. It will log on as an end user and chat with itself and so forth. Basically, what VitalSigns is doing is simulating an end user and making sure that the servers respond to the way that they're supposed to. I'm a little flustered. I can't believe it's tapping that. So bear with me a second. I'm sure that Windows will redraw my screen.
We can thank Microsoft for interrupting this presentation.
You know, I know.
You know, they figured out a way to
does that.
Yeah, they figured out a way to get back at Notes.
Yeah, they did. They're like, oh, they're talking IBM stuff. We can take care of that.
Here we go. We see it again.
There's Windows Classic.
Yep.
Or sorry, VitalSigns Classic, which is the tool that we've been selling, as Jim mentioned, for a number of years. And this one was architected as a traditional Windows application that was designed to be installed on a single user's workstation. And as we started to attract more and more enterprise customers, what ended up happening is people would have to put this in a closet somewhere and then use RDP into it. And they sort of didn't quite like the way that that scaled. So what we did with VitalSigns Plus is we moved the whole thing over into a browser interface. And I said we moved the whole thing into a browser. Come on, browser. You know, Scott, you and I have done a number of these webinars, and never once has it asked me about my colors.
Yeah, it must be something with one of the fixed packs or something, because yeah, I've seen it just recently, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's that?
What is that? So we did practice this, folks. It's plus.rprwyatt.com. So actually what this shows you is that you don't really need to RDP or anything. All you need to do is have a URL to connect to. And I'm going to do that from Chrome now since GoToWebinar seems to have hosted my Firefox client. You connect to that URL, you type in your username and password, and you come up with, sure, I'll save that. You come up with the VitalSigns, either the configurator or the dashboard, depending on what your role is. So as I was talking about the architecture, those are the last two pieces. We have a set of pages that are designed to be the configurator, and by the configurator that means the administrators would actually come in here and specify, you know, here are the servers that I want to monitor, and the scanning interval and the various thresholds that I want to set for how these things get monitored. And then the dashboard, which is where we started off just a minute ago, is where the results of the monitoring get presented. And this is where you would expect the IT managers and anybody who's sort of an interested party that wants to know the health of your environment, they would spend their time in the dashboard. The administrators would spend it more in the configurator. And what's nice about VitalSigns Plus, which is contrasted with our earlier VitalSigns Classic, is that we designed this from the very beginning to support more enterprise customers. So in the past, with VitalSigns Plus, you would install VitalSigns Classic on a machine, and then people would have to RDP into it, and it was an all-or-nothing proposition where you either had full access to the whole product, including the ability to change threshold settings and scan intervals and so forth, and the reports, or you had no access to it at all. Now we've broken those functions out, and in fact, you can go into something we call maintain users, and you'll see that you can set different people to have different sets of rights. So you can say whether they're active or not, whether they're a super admin, which would mean that they can maintain other users, configurator, whether they have access to the dashboard or not, and then this last column is kind of cool. It's whether they have console command access, because there are places in the dashboard, if you see something that needs attention, you can right-click and take action from there. And maybe you don't want to give that to everybody. So there are some people that can do that, and some people sort of have just view-only access, and we've split those roles out. And in fact, even fine-tuned to the point where you could say, based, certain administrators can make changes to the configuration settings of these servers but not these other servers, and different groups can be responsible for watching over the servers that are in their area of responsibility and not the other ones, but still see the dashboard to get the overall results of that. So the other thing that I want to show about the configurator, and I'm going to spend more of the time in the dashboard, is, close this up, is the alert setting. So a big part of the point of having a monitoring system is so that you can send out alerts when something goes wrong. So up here under alerts, have your alert definitions, and I have an alert in here called Notify Alan. That would be me. If I wanted to edit that, you'll see that we have very much fine-tuned the types of alerts that you want to get and how you get them and for which servers you get them. So for instance, if I was just interested in Domino, I could either check the whole box here and say, give me any alert that comes up around a Domino server or not, and I don't want to slice and dice them. Or you can uncheck that and say, I'm really only interested in when the server is not responding and when mail starts to pile up for one reason or another. Pending mail, dead mail, and not responding. Those are the things that I care about. And to fine-tune it even more, I'm really only interested in a subset of servers. So the ones that I care about are the ones here that are checked off. So if any of these servers have any of these problems, then I want to be alerted. And if it's any other server or any other problem, not my problem, alert somebody else. You can have any number of these things, and you can even fine-tune them as to say what hours of the day you want to get those alerts. So I could say that, for instance, I want just during business hours I want to get certain alerts, or during off hours, 24 hours a day, or specific times I want to start, starting at 8 a.m. in the morning and going until 4 o'clock. That's when I want to get those alerts sent to me. And you can have different email addresses, so you could say, send it to my pager off hours, but send it to my account during business hours. So alerts have been dramatically improved in our new VitalSigns Plus. I think because this is an overview webinar, I'm not going to do too many more deep dives here. I want to next show the dashboard, and the dashboard is really why people tend to buy VitalSigns, is because this is the information that they want to consolidate all into one going on, be able to show the managers of what's going on. What's nice about the dashboard is we really put a lot of time into making it both intuitive and pleasing on the eye. There's a lot of little subtleties in here so that at a glance you can really see what's going on. The real summary is right up at the top here. And you'll notice as I mouse over these things, they light up. And that's because everything virtually in the product is a clickable item that you can drill down to get more information. So down here is the supporting details, which is how did we come up with these numbers up here? If you want to see, oh gee, some of my Domino servers have issues, let's see what those issues are. You just click on that item. And because of how you selected it, it's only showing the Domino servers with issues as opposed to showing all the issues. If you clicked up here, that would give you not just the Domino servers, but your BlackBerry servers with issues. Maybe you have mail services and network devices with issues and so forth. So you can drill down into the things that you want, or if you don't want to see the Domino servers that just have issues, but you want to see all of your Domino servers, you just click on the category box, and up comes a grid showing all of your Domino servers. Now let's say you're a big organization and you've got 100 servers on the list here, which is the case in a number of our customers actually. So I can type in a partial string here and get a match, because I'm really only interested in the DOM1 server because that's the one that hosts my mail file personally. Okay, there it is. It's got an issue. The issue is that the billing task is not running. You see, if I mouse over that, it gives me this balloon pop-up that tells me when was it last scanned, when is it next going to be scanned, and why is it the status that it is. If I want to drill down further, I just click on the server itself, and up comes a detail page here showing me more details about how is this server doing. So I can see how's my performance in terms of response time over the day. You can see it was in a scheduled maintenance period over the nighttime. Here's how it's doing on disk space. Here's how the CPU is doing. Here's how the memory is doing. Here's its current status of dead mail, pending mail, and held mail. And here's the user count, which you can also see began to jump as we got into the working hours of the day. And there's different tabs here, so I can see, all right, what are the server tasks that are currently running? These are the ones that I've told VitalSigns to monitor. But here's all the server tasks that are running, whether I want to get an alert on those or not. Here's the times that it's scheduled to be in a maintenance window. Here's all the alerts, the history of the alerts that have come through, and if there's been any outages for that server where it was actually down, as opposed to an alert like, oh, it's running low on disk space or something, you'd be able to see the history of that right there as well. So back to the overall health here where my dashboard is. Remember, to get to there, as I first clicked on Domino, and then I got a list of the Domino servers I was interested in, and then I clicked on the specific one to get a deeper dive on that. There's also a ton of key metrics and server health things here that you can pull down from the drop-down. And again, it's designed to be super easy for people to find their way around. So for instance, if I were to see what are the current user counts, how many servers are, how many users are on particular servers, I can sort it either by the server name or in alphabetical order. I can do the same thing for response times. I can do the same thing for lots of different key metrics. Let's say I've got some servers that are in cluster. How are my clusters doing right now? I've got some Traveler servers. How are my Traveler servers doing right now? Our intention with this is that we're going to do a series of these webinars, and we're going to do some deep dives. So if you're specifically interested in how we monitor Traveler, we're going to have a deep dive Traveler webinar. That's a topic all on its own, cluster monitoring all on its own. But I want to give you an overview here just to say that if you have a Domino server out there and it's running Traveler, VitalSigns will automatically detect that it's running Traveler, and it will populate this page so that you can see at a glance what's going on with how that server is actually doing. So there's the overall status of how Traveler evaluates itself. Does it have enough HTTP threads to support the user population as compared to how many are maximum, what's the maximum that you've configured compared with the devices? We sort of look for problems that could be coming with Traveler. We also look at the various mail servers that a Traveler server talks to, and we will track over time, how much time does it take for the Traveler server to open up a user's mail file on a different server, and you can pull a drop down from, we have some customers where a Traveler server talks to 15 different mail servers, and it's what sometimes happens is that the Traveler server has difficulty talking to one of them, but the other ones are fine, and that's not easy to uncover through the native tools that are in Domino unless you wait for an end user to complain about it, and nobody wants to do it that way. So that's the quick and dirty demo of what does the dashboard do. I do want to turn it over to Natalia right now, who's going to give you a quick sort of deep dive into some of the configuration about specifically what do we monitor about Domino servers and some of the incredible reports that she has coded for us. And Scott, if you could pass it over to Natalia, I would be eternally grateful.
All right, we're passing the screen over to Natalia.
All right.
Natalia should have something pop up on your window.
Okay, please let me know when you can see it.
We see it.
Yep, it's there.
Perfect. So as Alan mentioned, the tool is very robust, and as a result, you really do have quite a bit of control over what you want to monitor and what you can configure. So we're now back into the VitalSigns configurator, and we'll take a look at one of our internal servers and how it is configured right now.
Your voice just trailed off.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
Let me see if I can adjust my microphone a little bit. Okay, so I opened one of the Domino servers running in our environment, and here is a quick overview of the attributes that you can set up for configuring the server, for monitoring, the server. So first of all, you notice that the enabled for scanning flag is set. That tells us that we are in fact watching this current server. Now some of the other settings for monitoring are we have a scan interval of 8 minutes during business hours and off hours of 15 minutes. You'll also notice that you'll have a threshold set and failures before alert, how many consecutive failures before you get alerted. That's also configurable. Further down, some of the specifics of the server, name, location, category, whether it's production server or something else. We also have a mail settings tab where you can set up what your pending mail threshold is, dead mail threshold, held mail. Finally, if you want to be notified if your if the deleted mail exceeds 500, for example, in our case here, if you want to delete the dead mail. We also have a number of other areas that we cover here. Things like server tasks. As Alan showed you prior on the dashboard, we do have information about which server tasks are available, but we also can specify which specific server tasks we like to monitor as it relates to a specific Domino server. So in this case, I have, seven tasks that we are monitoring, and I can add more, or I can remove the ones that I don't want to monitor anymore, for example. As far as control and granularity goes, we've recently added an option to allow to specify only certain disks for monitoring. Some servers come with a number of disks, and the administrators do not necessarily want to monitor everything, but only a subset of disks, and they want to be notified if something goes bad on those specific disks. And on this screen, you see that we will get alert if the disk space goes below 11%. The next tab is to set the alerts as it relates to memory usage, CPU utilization, and you'll see that these values can be adjusted as necessary. Further down, we have some of the configuration for BlackBerry Enterprise Server monitoring, and also for cluster application delays. If, for example, it takes longer than a certain amount of seconds to for a document to replicate, then we want to receive notifications. So that's another option here. We also have a couple of other tabs, and again, as Alan showed you, some of the alerts, or I'm sorry, some of the maintenance windows that are set up for the server, which basically indicates when the server is going to be out of service or out of monitoring. And finally, the alerts that are configured for the server. And in this case, we do have quite a few alerts here that are enabled for the server. One of the alerts is to, as Alan showed you, is to notify him when certain conditions are met, and it will also display when the notifications are going to be sent. And again, that is all very configurable, very flexible. So that's just a quick review of the Domino properties. And let me get back to the VitalSigns dashboard now and show you just a few reports. Okay, let me start with a disk space consumption report. We do have quite a few, and there is unfortunately not enough time to go over all of them, but some of the more kind of prominent and interesting ones. The disk space consumption report, it's going to tell you based on your usage how many days you have left on your disk. So for each server in our environment and for each disk on the server, based on the usability and usage, you will see that we'll calculate the number of days that remain. Now it's flexible enough that, again, that we can select a subset of servers and only display a few. And the reports, all reports are optimized for paper and are all exportable into a number of formats such as PDF, Excel, CSV, text, and so on. Now let's quickly take a look at another report, maximum CPU utilization per day. And again, for a date range, you'll see the CPU utilization for a set of servers in our environment. And you can pick and choose which ones you want to view. And again, all of the exporting options are available here at the top. And finally, let's take a look at another report, response times. Now this report, I think Alan showed you a quick glance as a page report on the dashboard, but this one is actually an exportable report, and it also allows you to filter out the information by type, such as Domino, nodes database, URL, and whatever you're interested in. Okay, so just some of the details of the reporting. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jim Engel for some final words. Scott, if you don't mind switching over to Jim. Thank you.
No, it's fine. You no need to push the screen there. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Natalia. Appreciate that. And thank you, Scott, and everyone. Just wanted to mention, folks, that we realize that this is a busy time of the year, the end of the year, and a difficult time to perhaps get things engaged and take a look at a new solution. But if we could encourage you, and if you are willing to move forward, we would like to provide a small incentive to engage with us and hopefully close a VitalSigns monitoring deal sometime between now and, say, contact of 2014. So the show down in Orlando that used to be known quite affectionately as Lotusphere. So if we're able to close within that time, we would like to provide you with an iPad Air as an incentive to facilitate any relationships at this time. Just looking forward to accelerating some contacts during the holiday season, realizing it's a tough time to start up a new project, but would like to offer that.
Hey, Jim, where would that iPad be shipped?
Individuals, to the individuals.
Yeah, we'll ship it to your house, not to your manager's desk.
Exactly. All righty. At this time, I think, Scott, we're ready for questions.
Okay, so just a reminder, if you expand your GoToWebinar with the red box with the white arrow, then there's a questions section, and you can type in questions. We do have a few queued up already. And so I'll start to the top here and start going down. So how does the product send alerts does it require a separate SMTP server?
I can take that question. It does use an SMTP server, and that can be a separate one, or it could be any one of your Domino servers that's already running SMTP. And we do set it up with 2 different servers. So if the first SMTP server that it tries to route the alert through is not available, then it will go to a backup server. So it doubles your chances of getting the alert.
All right, perfect. Next question. How is the product installed? Is it a single executable, or because of all the features that it offers, are there multiple steps?
Ellen, you want me to take this one?
Yeah, hold on one second. I think Alan just lost audio connection. Okay, I'm going to repeat the question. Maybe, Alan, can you hear us now? Okay, he's reconnecting. Okay, perfect. So let me just. We have a whole bunch of questions coming in, so I got to resize my screen here again. Okay, so the question is, and maybe Annabelle or Jim could take the question while Alan is reconnecting. The question is, how is the installation of the product done? Is it a single executable, or are there numerous manual steps because of the complexity and getting into all the other servers?
Actually, no, there's an install wizard. We recognize the complexity of the components, and we've designed and delivered an install wizard that knits together all the various components that would be required, IIS, SQL, etc., and auto-installs those. So we have that process. We've eliminated most of the pain from the process of installation.
Perfect. All right. Do you support monitoring Domino servers on the iSeries platform?
As long as it's a Domino, it doesn't matter what platform.
Okay.
As long as it's a Domino server. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, we do support it.
Okay. So a quick question, just to verify, just to clarify, if they want to do an evaluation and qualify for the mini air, do they have to commit to that in the next 2 days? And how do they commit?
Well, just connect with us, and we'll get set up as far as the follow-on contacts. But no, all that has to happen is by the Connect 2014 conference.
Right, but they have to commit to. They say, yeah, we want to do an evaluation. They just need to let you know that by November 1st that they're interested in doing an evaluation, and then you'll work with them for scheduling the evaluation.
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yep.
Yes, by November 1st for the
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. And if they already have VitalSigns Classic, how does the upgrade work?
They're fully entitled as long as they're in license, meaning in support and maintenance agreement with us or in a subscription agreement with us. They're fully licensed to receive any new version of the tool.
Yep.
There is no upgrade. All it is a technical maneuver of installing the new, running them simultaneously probably, and then bringing down the old version.
Hey guys, I was able to get back in through my cell phone.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry about dropping off there. I'm not sure what happened.
Blame it on Microsoft and the internet again. They really don't want you to present anything.
No.
There we go. All right. So can the monitoring page be viewed on mobile devices, both for iOS and Android?
Yes, it can. It looks awesome on both, actually.
Volume, Alan.
Yes, it can. It looks awesome on both.
Perfect. All right. And so I'm not sure I understand this question, but I'll do my best to read it correctly. Can additional remote VitalSign servers, based on regions, for example, be set up on the same set of licenses? So maybe we could get this.
One license per server. Yes. Anything can be achieved after that.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, we don't really care how you mix and match where you deploy them.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
We keep the licensing process very simple and friendly, if you will, user-friendly. Yeah. It's a single license per server. For instance, where you might see same time sitting on a Domino server, often a lot of 2 licenses, we look at that as 1 license.
Perfect.
We aim to be easy to do business with.
There you go. Perfect. And if they currently own VitalSigns Classic, is the installation of VitalSigns Plus a new installation, or is it an upgrade, or?
It's an upgrade, and it's part of covered under their existing agreement at no cost.
Okay.
Yeah, but technically it's a new install. So what they could do is they could continue to run VS Classic in the background. We'll install Plus for them, and when they're ready to flip the switch, they can turn Classic off. But we understand that there are people that, since they are already relying on it, they don't want to flip something off and turn on a new thing unless they're sure the new thing is good, and that's totally within the licensing. You can run them in parallel as long as you want.
Exactly. We'll run dual parallel for a while.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Let's see, Alan, the screen dropped off, so we don't see the slide. Do you have a final slide showing contact information?
Let me see.
Maybe if Natalia or Jim, if you have a slide up, just let me know, and I'll switch the presentation back up to you. No.
See my screen?
Don't see it at all.
Okay, if you want to give me the screen.
Okay, Jim, the screen's coming over to you.
All right.
This is why we email the presentations out to everybody, just in case. No pressure, Jim.
Yeah, and while he's bringing up that slide, the last question I think I have in the queue here is, for Traveler server monitoring, is it still based on the server, or is it based on the number of seats on the Traveler server?
It is based on the server.
Based on the server.
You buy a license, and if Traveler happens to be on that Domino server, then you're in luck. It's included as part of that package.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay extra for that. And unlike
are
other
you seeing
vendors,
Yes,
you don't have to pay extra because you have lots of users on this server either.
Right. Perfect. Good. That's good, because the Traveler can grow very fast.
It sure can.
Exactly. And Jim, we do see your screen with your contact information, with your email address and the website. All right. So I think we're at the end of the questions that we have for today. So I want to thank everyone for their participation. RPR Wyatt, Jim, and Natalia, Alan, thank you so much for the presentation. And as I mentioned, there will be some deep dive sessions coming up later in the year. So in November we have another one scheduled, and in December there will be yet another webinar scheduled, so that we can go into deeper presentations and deeper examples of how they can make sure your servers are running properly and alert you. And that is, again, all part of the promotions we are running with to win a trip to Connect. So we hope to see you all back. Jim, I'm going to give you the last word so that you can close us down, and then we'll bid adieu for today.
I thank you for your time, for joining us today. I look forward to working with you. Thank you, folks.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Alan, Natalia, Jim, everyone. And thank you, everyone, for your time today. Have a great day.
Cool. Thank you, Scott. Bye.
Thank you, Scott.